Today's the day I am going to start doing something about this panel. I've been looking at it for a while and testing some fabrics with it, and I've come up with a plan. First of all, the panel is a Gustav Klimt Collection Tree 24-inch panel by Robert Kaufman, and my friend bought two of them and went to a workshop by Al Cote, who is a Niagara Falls, Ontario visual artist, and they took two panels, identical panels, cut one of them into strips and added other coordinating fabrics and sewed them in around the outside and made a piece of work. But my friend then said, "I don't know what to do with it, Linda." So she said, "Why don't you try to do something with it?" So here I am looking at this tree of life and all of the scrolls and colors and motifs. I've got a plan. I've been trying a few other fabrics that I have yardage of and looking at them to see what looks nice with it. And I love this one. This ombre fabric is going to be a keeper. And after some careful measuring, I made cuts and I almost have enough to make it work. So I've got to get on my thinking cap and figure out what I can do with the empty spaces once again. So looking through my bins, I found some solid colors that looked nice with the round motif and the colors that are in the panel itself. And I did a little drawing how I might use these colors, round off the rectangles that I've got. And I happened to put some of my bobbins out to look at colors, and I thought those represent quite nicely the round motifs on that one fabric. So I can cut some of those out and applique them on. First thing I had to do was measure across the width and the length of the panel and decide how many squares I was going to cut. I wanted to add a sashing in between each of these pieces because I really didn't have enough of that ombre fabric. Then I had to decide how wide I was going to make the sashings. And again, mathematics is very important to make sure that there's going to be enough length and width. Now here comes the fun. I cut out a lot of the circle motifs in that one fabric, and in order to sew them on, or applique them on, I sewed around the circle with a basting stitch, pulled it up slightly, and turned it under with my iron. Then I appliqued these circles into the panels after I had them sewn together. Make sure that the seam allowances in the back are all pressed well, and that when you sew over the circles on the front side, that they keep it flat on the back side. That's going to make it easier to quilt later. Sometimes when you set up a sewing area, you need a place to iron. Today I have a chair and I have my ironing table at a height that I can see well with good lighting, and that I could keep an eye on things going on in the rest of the room, because there's always something else going on in my room. I'm never really alone here. I used to be able to finish a quilt in a week or two. Now, well, this one's been on my table for about 3 or 4 weeks. And at first I was getting a little frustrated with myself. I kept thinking, why is this taking me so long? I used to be able to make a quilt in a week. And then I realized it's really not such a bad thing. I think my standards have changed on this quilt because I'm using something that my friend took a long time to do, and I don't want to mess it up. I want to make the changes around the outside so that they're going to be pleasant to look at and interesting to see. And I take more care with things now. When I first started quilting, I was just eager to get it finished and start something new. But let's face it, our bodies change over time. My hands don't move as fast as they used to, and my eyes need a little more light. But that's okay. Life's gotten a lot fuller lately. I'm spending more time with my husband. That takes time, energy, and a whole lot of heart. And while it can be exhausting, I wouldn't trade being there for him. But it does mean that the time I have for quilting is in smaller pieces. Still, those pieces do matter. Quilting helps me stay grounded. It's my quiet time, my little act of self-care in the middle of everything else. Even if I only get 20 minutes at a time, it gives me some peace and it reminds me that I'm more than just the roles I play. I'm still a creator. So this quilt is taking longer than I planned. And maybe that's exactly what it needs and exactly what I need. So I'll keep on working and adding my circles and then sewing together with sashings. And fast or slow, I'm still stitching and still trying to make this work. I've got all of the pieces done. They're all put in. I think I have enough of these circles to carry the mode of bubbles on the sides. They sort of come around the bottom and up the side. So I have to decide now what I'm going to do with the quilting. But I am going to fix this little piece right here because it irritates being a little bit too long, but it won't take long to fix that little piece. But I'm quite pleased about the way that it's come together. And I think I'm going to stop this video now and show maybe what I'm doing with the quilting at a later time, because I have to find something that I like for the backing. And I'm still a little bit slow in what I'm doing. So I'm going to take my time with the quilting this time and do some free motion stitching and create a pattern. I think it's going to look nice when it's done. I've got sort of an idea in my head, so I'll get around to it soon. And I thought I would post and just say thanks for all the comments that you've been providing and good wishes for my speedy recovery. I've almost come back to what I consider normal, whatever normal is anymore, and I'm healing up, so that's really good. And this has been a nice project to think about and to ponder and to think about things in general, and it's been quite a good journey. And I'm quite pleased with the way that it's looking. When I look into the recording device over there, I can see the picture of it on the wall, and I like the way the colors go, and I like the green dots and the bubbles that are floating around. And I'm going to try to emphasize that in the quilting, I think. And I like the colors. So I'm very pleased with what I've done so far, and I'll show you what I'm going to do in the quilting in another video coming up. Maybe not soon, but in the next one. If you liked it, thumbs up. It's been kind of a slow process, but thanks for watching, and come back again. Bye for now.